Hello everybody, this is Godzilla 2010 here. It's been a while since I've done a video like this where I'm just kind of talking and talking about stuff, so I thought I'd make a new video talking about my movie collection. It's been a long time since I talked about my movie collection, maybe about 2-3 years, but as you can see, it's grown quite significantly since then. This is just part of it. So I'll just take you through it and just talk about the highlights. So this whole entire section that you see here is essentially, aside from the video games, there is essentially just horror films. Horror films is what really has been getting me into collecting, and I just haven't stopped since. So yeah, I have a weird organization method. I do not organize alphabetically. I organize by genre first of all. So as you can see, this is all horror. So this is sort of the horror section, and that I also sort by franchise and by release date. So I have a couple different sections. So this section here is all franchises. This section here, the up and down, is all franchises, and then this is non-franchise related. So nothing with the sequel or remake or anything like that. That would all go here, and then that is sorted from oldest at the bottom to the newest at the top, and then it continues here, oldest at the bottom, newest at the top. This little section here is probably one of my favorites of the entire collection. This is just sort of like all of the really big franchises, or franchises with a lot of movies that are displayed in this little special nook next to the TV here. Really big fan of the slasher films, so I've got the entire Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, Halloween, all of the movies, including director's cuts of the Rob Zombie films on Canadian Blu-ray. And also in this set, I've got the Curse of Michael Myers producer's cut in a double disc, so that's fun. I've also got new steel books for Halloween and Halloween 2. This is the, I believe this is the FYE exclusive one, or this is some kind of exclusive steel book. And then this here is the Halloween 2 Scream Factory release. What's really nice about those steelbooks is that they have the television cuts and the television footage from previous versions of the film that were not available separately, or together, I should say. Friday the 13th is pretty interesting, the killer cut. I actually have both cuts in here. So this is the version most people know here, the killer cut, which is the extended version, but I also have the original version, which I got off of a Blockbuster DVD, so that's pretty cool. Nightmare on Elm Street box set includes all 8 films, and then you have the remake there. At the bottom, you've got all kinds of stuff, kind of a sort of variety, not necessarily slashers, just great films of the genre in general. So I only have the first 3 of the Living Dead series, but these are the ones that matter to me. So I might get the other ones eventually, but I'm not super hard looking into it. But mostly I was concerned about this right here, Dawn of the Dead, and this edition is excellent and what I was seeking for a long time. I got a pretty good price on this, so yeah, this version of Dawn of the Dead includes the 3 different cuts of the film, the extended version, the regular US cut, and the European cut. So I've got, the Omen series, including Omen 4 there. I've got the Saw series, Scream, Hellraiser, Evil Dead, and the entire Puppet Master series way in the back as well, including the newest films, and the entire Chucky series as well, including the new Child's Play. Moving on with more franchises, you got all kinds of different things here. I do it left to right, so you have oldest to newest, and then it keeps going up to the top. This particular shelving unit was pretty cheap, and it had assembly to it, but it's actually really nice, and it holds a lot of movies, so I'd recommend this shelving unit if you're looking for a cheap way to store movies. But yeah, I just got sort of a hodgepodge here. Universal Monsters, this is just what I have. I got this 6-pack, or yeah, this 6-pack that's got some of the essentials on it, the first few of each respective franchise. And then I've got Creature from the Black Lagoon as well there. The entire Psycho franchise, Jaws, Town of Dreaded Sundown, lots of obscure things too that I really like. The entire Phantasm series, Maniac Cop back there as well. The Thing, which is my favorite horror movie. I might be looking to upgrade that to Blu-ray at some point, but I don't need to. You've got the It films. I just recently acquired these 2 Candyman films, so I have to give those a watch still. Candyman films, Leprechaun, Wishmaster. That's a pretty new release, or a new acquire for me, I guess. And then up here you've got some, again, more obscure things. Some really popular, some more obscure. So you've got the Hatchet series, more mainstream. You got Paranormal Activity, Strangers films. You got Laid to Rest, which apparently there's a third movie of Laid to Rest coming out soon. I'm pretty excited about that because I like those movies. And you got, you know, stuff that's obscure like All Hallows Eve and Terrifier there. And then you also have movies like The Conjuring. So yeah, this is just franchise. I really, really like sorting franchises together. And starting here, we've got the non-franchise films. So down at the bottom here, I've got Curse of the Demon, aka Night of the Demon, which I believe is from 1957. And you got movies like The Birds, etc. And you just keep going all the way up. On this tower all the way up to Pet Sematary, which is from 1989. 80s, you can tell I'm probably a huge fan of because start all the way here at The Shining, and then it goes all the way up to the Pet Sematary. So that's how many films in this set are from the 1980s. Definitely a huge fan of that, but all the films here are simply from non-franchise associated, so no sequels or no remakes to be had here. So I really like the obscure slasher flicks. So you got stuff like The Mutilator, Slumber Party Massacre, Just Before Dawn is one of my favorites, The Burning. This set's pretty interesting, pretty unique set. I got it because it was cheap, and I don't really like it when they don't label what's on there because, you know, since I sort by release date, it's kind of hard to sort for unrelated movies. So I believe this is sorted under The Blob, which was 87, or actually it might be sorted by Fright Night, which is 85. But you've got The Blob, 80s Blob, Christine, Fright Night, and Seventh Sign. So that's kind of an odd little set there. You've got a lot of similar ones here, like this is the Reanimator one that's I got for Reanimator, but it has Hills Have Eyes, Darkness Falls, and Sleepwalkers. And I don't mind that one too much because it at least has listed what's on there, and I mostly got it for Reanimator. Then you have this one here, which I got for Night of the Demon, which is not the 1950s Night of the Demon at the bottom. It is the Night of the Demon, which is about Bigfoot. But, you know, you've got all these movies, and I just, like, it doesn't say what it's on there in the back or anything like that, so I don't know. And on this tower here, which still has plenty of space left to fill, which I really like, I've got more modern horror films. So we've got from 1990, you got Misery there. You got the out-of-print edition here of Dead Alive. I believe this is out of print. It kind of fluctuates in price. And then you got, of course, even in the modern section, I've got stuff that's more obscure and stuff that's very mainstream as well. So you got, you know, something like Hills Run Red, but then you also, right next to it, have Insidious. So I really like the versatility of the collection, and despite some of these movies still have sequels left to get, like Insidious especially, and I might get those eventually, but for now, since they are, as of yet, unassociated, I keep them here. This tower here doesn't really have a theme necessarily. It's kind of here just because I ran out of space. Next to the piano there, it's got just... Mostly this is just action, genre film, science fiction, etc. There's a few comedy as well. A lot of this is franchise as well. So at the top I've got Star Wars. This is all in release order, not in chronological order or anything, just because it works for that. So I have yet to get Rise of Skywalker. That hasn't come out yet. Down at the bottom you got Rocky and Creed. You've got the Terminator films. I have space reserved for Dark Fate, which I'm going to get soon. You've got the Mad Max films, RoboCop, Planet of the Apes, the entire series, which is really great. The Matrix, including the Animatrix. You got the Rambo films. And down at the bottom, here's where it starts getting kind of muddy. You've got the Mortal Kombat, the two Hollywood Mortal Kombat films. And you've got Commando, which I don't know how well that belongs here, but it does. You got Red Dawn, which is a great movie. Then you've got Monty Python's Holy Grail and Big with Tom Hanks. This little tower here that's standing on top of the speaker, this is sort of like a weird, like, hodgepodge animation genre. So I've got, at the top, I've got, like, my Scooby-Doo collection. So I've got the entire Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Complete series there. Plus I've got some DVDs that I got from when I was a kid. I've got some of the movies. I've got the Alien Invasion Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase, and the 2 live-action movies and a couple of the newer ones. So, yeah, I really like Scooby-Doo, and this is almost exactly what I needed for what I wanted. You've got all kinds of other films there. Right next to Scooby-Doo, you've got Watership Down, which is quite different in comparison. But then you got Monster House, Family Guy, Spirited Away, Dragon Ball Z Season 3, Fullmetal Alchemist, the original complete series, Pokemon movies 1 through 8, Land Before Time, the complete series. It's the few volumes of the Godzilla animated series. So yeah, you can see there's a complete tonal shift, and it's kind of just animation. That's kind of what this is reserved for. But at the bottom, I've got that 50 sci-fi classics, which is just a giant box set full of public domain movies. Got some public domain releases of the Gamera movies in that box set, and the DVD on top as well. The public domain Disaster Collection, and then a couple of Rebirth of Mothra movies as well. On this set, this is a pretty crown jewel section of the collection as well, which is the incomplete Godzilla series. I'm still looking for a release of the anime trilogy. I know that's on Netflix, but I would really, really like a Blu-ray, triple feature package or something, just so I can have it on physical media. But otherwise, this is all of the Godzilla movies. And down at the bottom here, I've also got the Godzilla animated series complete, the '98 version. I've got an extra copy of 2014, and this is an extra copy of Return of Godzilla, but this has the, this is a bootleg, and it has the 1985 American recut on it as well. So most of these are just dubs. Well, not a lot. Some of these are just dubs, I should say, and some of them are subs only, like the bootlegs I have. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla bootleg, that's just the Japanese subtitles, which is fine. I just wanted some kind of version of it on DVD. These kind of versions are out of print in the United States, so decided to get a bootleg for cheap and just to complete the collection. And on this side, this is the last little section I've got from downstairs. I've got some King Kong movies and some, this is just sort of like general monsters and science fiction, sort of like a general like hodgepodge of stuff. I just recently reorganized this to have sequels next to each other and to have it's sorted by release date as well. So at the bottom I've got King Kong, and then I've got Son of Kong, King Kong Escapes, the 1976, and the newer ones. I'm still missing King Kong Lives. That's pretty out of print right now, I think, so I'm gonna keep looking. Then you've got all kinds of stuff like from science fiction classics like Day of the Earth Stood Still and Thing from Another World. You've also got stuff like, War of the Worlds is a great classic as well, but you also got Reptilicus and like all this other crazy stuff. This here is one of my favorite DVDs because it's just got some awesome like monster movies that from back in the day that, and it was super cheap. It was like $4, so I got each of these was like $1. Here you've got the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy. You've got stuff like Rodan War of the Gargantuas, Gorgo, that's a really fun movie. Varan the Unbelievable, this is just the American version. Really bad quality DVD, but it's what you can get, I guess. I've got some bootlegs here. This is Dogora from Toho, Frankenstein versus Baragon. This includes the American and Japanese versions. That's also a bootleg. Here I've got the entire Gamera series. I've got the this is the Showa and the Heisei Gamera films right there. Those are all Japanese subtitled, and that's fine. And I've got the Blu-rays of the Heisei trilogy, which has dubs on it, which is really nice. And then here I've got a bootleg of Gamera the Brave, which is also Japanese subtitled. Then you've got the Daimajin trilogy there, which is a pretty rare Blu-ray now. You've got the complete series of the Ultraman, which is the only Ultraman content I really need. Maybe Ultra Q. I might get Ultra Q someday, but I think Ultraman's too much of a rabbit hole for me. You've got Yongary, Space Amoeba, which is a bootleg. This is a really cool Toho movie. Tremors, the complete series. Just got the first Cloverfield there. I don't really think the other ones belong. I have 10 Cloverfield Lane. I don't have the Cloverfield Paradox movie, so it's best just left, I think, alone. We'll keep the monster ones with the monster ones. You've got Pacific Rim Monsters. This is actually kind of a little discrepancy here. The space doesn't allow me to fit, so I had to sort of just rearrange the order of release dates here, but it fits, so it's fine with me. Slightly unrelated, I've got the entire Slipknot discography here. I don't consider the demo album Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat to be part of the same, thing here, so I've just got the entire discography. I've got some DVDs here, like Day of the Gusano, and then I've got Slipknot, The Sickness Blu-ray, which is live at download in 2009, and then the famous show, Disaster Pieces. And here in this upstairs cabinet, we've got overstock, I guess. This is just, there's absolutely very little sorting that goes on here. Mostly it's just kind of an issue of space. I don't have space to display these downstairs, so it just kind of all fits where it fits, I suppose. Got the superhero films all kind of lined up here. I've got the DC films, so I've got the DCEU films stacked up there. The Superman films, the original Batman films, and the Dark Knight films there. I don't have any Adam West Batman yet, but I might get that eventually. Here I've got the Sam Raimi and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films right there. And I've got the entire X-Men franchise as well. Here you've got the entire MCU up until Spider-Man Far From Home. Here you've got stuff like Jurassic Park. You got the Jurassic Park series. You've got some of the Mummy films here, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I kind of wanted to put this one downstairs, but it's not really fitting anywhere as of right now. Pirates of the Caribbean. Got some extra horror movies there. This is kind of like duplicates, etc. Transformers and stuff like that. If I move this aside, you can see Hunger Games, Harry Potter, Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings. And then I've just got, this is all kinds of different stuff here, from comedy to drama to action to, you know, anything. You can just look and see for yourself. Everything from Uncle Buck to Pulp Fiction. So yeah, just kind of a hodgepodge, and it just sort of fits where it fits down here. This is sort of the Christmas holiday collection here. I've got a lot of holiday films that both I enjoy and that the rest of the family enjoys here. So I've got everything from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to Elf Bowling. Back here I've got some lesser TV series. I've got stuff like Sigmund and the Sea Monsters up here. That's just a volume there. I've got some volumes of Drake and Josh, which is pretty cool, the Drake and Josh movie, a few seasons of Modern Family, Ozzie and Harriet. You got stuff like F Troop, which is pretty obscure there. I think there's only 2 seasons of that. We only have 1 though. Got some Three Stooges stuff. I got the entire Brady Bunch series as well. Here I've got sort of a theme going here. This is kind of like alien or science fiction sort of thing, but then I have like weird science. I guess that's science fiction enough in The Revenant. That's not quite right, but again, it just sort of goes where it goes here. Stuff from Close Encounters, Independence Day, District 9, Avatar, etc., etc. Down here we've got some other TV shows. Here you've got Land of the Lost. This is the original 1970s series. Then you have the Will Ferrell movie as well. Land of the Lost was a show I really liked as a kid. I definitely would recommend it to science fiction or genre fans. Then you've got Gilligan's Island, seasons 1 through 3, and the Rescue from Gilligan's Island movie. You got 3 seasons of Get Smart there, and then the Steve Carell Get Smart. Season 3 of X-Files. I'd like to complete that set. You've got a couple of SpongeBob Toy Story stuff. On the back there, I've got a lot of other stuff too. I'm not going to talk about all of it because a lot of this is stuff that we might find irrelevant now, but I'm just going to show you, well, you might find a few interesting things here. But yeah, that's been my video showcasing my DVD collection. It's constantly growing and constantly changing, so I may update it occasionally if I really enjoy talking about the subject, and this may become a regular thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about movies or DVD editions, review movies more. I don't know. It's pretty fun talking about movies and DVDs. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. This is Godzilla 2010 signing off.